What's up, Instagram? So today is the first real episode of the IGTV series, Mental Health and Me. Um, and I want to start off this series with a story about my worst days. So when I was at the worst point in my life, in the hope that people will watch, and anyone that's going through the same thing right now will see that there is hope. There is hope. You can get through it. Okay? I'm speaking to you directly now. The people that are feeling suicidal daily. There is hope. So yeah, what about me? In my early 20s, I'd just come back from living in Spain, and at one point in my life I was suicidal every single day. And the only thing that really stopped me from doing it was I'd get to the point where I wanted to, and then I'd think about people I was leaving behind. My mum lost a child when he was young to cot death, and I know how badly it affected her. And I thought, if I kill myself, she's going to have to go through that all again, and I can't do that to my mum. Some days that nearly didn't work. Not that that was me trying to stop myself. That was me rationalising not doing it. You understand? I hope that makes sense. When I came back from Spain, I had no qualifications. I had no career, no aspirations, no goals. And it just drove me into this deep, horrible depression. And I mean, I now realise, and it's only recently that I've realised this, that I had depression when I was a young child, but it was always manageable. But this, in my early 20s, it was not manageable. It was the worst time of my life. At one point I didn't leave the house for 6 months. I didn't go outside, not even into the back garden. And my suicidal thoughts turned into this feeling that I wished I could go back in time and stop myself from ever existing, so that I could cease to exist, but not put that on anyone else. And obviously there was no way to do that, but that was my thinking. That was like my one true wish, was that I'd never ever been born. So anyway, my irrational thinking eventually led me to believe that there wasn't one person on this earth that didn't despise me. And to put that in, sorry I keep looking off, I've got notes, but to put that into perspective, I was once on a coach journey from Cambridge to Bognor, and it was a really sunny day, extremely sunny day, and the sun was shining in, and I was sat in a seat on my own. I did the typical, put my bag on the chest, no one sat next to me. Luckily the bus wasn't very crowded, but no one sat near me. There was only, I think, probably like the bus was about half full, if that. Anyway, the sun was shining in, and my shadow was resting on someone. My shadow was on someone, and I remember thinking I need to shift in my seat so that I can stop stop my shadow, you know, being on this person, because they despise me, and I thought that people thought that I was so disgusting that even my shadow being on them would disgust them. So I'm shifting around, and eventually, because I can't manage to get it off the back of the bus, there was no one at the back of the bus, so I went to the back seat and sat next to the toilet. Like my seat was here and the toilet door was here, and it fucking stunk. But because it stunk, no one sat back there, and it meant that I could at least begin to try and calm myself down. And I know how ridiculous all this sounds, but at the time it was so real. So real. And by sitting in that seat, because the toilet cubicle was in the way, the sun couldn't get in, so I could sit in my dark little corner and I could process these horrible thoughts, and they still manifested, and I still had hours left on this bus, or an hour maybe, and I just sat there and let them get worse and worse and worse. And because I was in the dark, or not in the dark, but out of the sun, that was kind of my hiding place. And then when the bus stopped, I couldn't get off that bus quick enough. I shot off, grabbed my bag, but then I was out in the sun again. And from going from safe and enclosed in the dark to in the sun, and I had to walk from the Bognor town centre to my home, which is probably about 1.5 miles, on this sunny day with my hood up, so that I could kind of protect myself, just getting hotter and hotter and more into this state that I was getting myself into. And then I got home and I went to my bedroom and I shut the door and I closed the curtains and the blinds, and I didn't leave that room for days, because that bus journey was enough to get me into this, I can only describe it as a state. I was in a state of mind and I couldn't get out of it for days. And then eventually, you know, I ventured downstairs, but again I didn't leave the house again for a long time. And just so you know, I used to lock myself in the bedroom during the day, because I lived with my nan at the time, and then once I'd heard she'd gone to sleep, I'd sneak out my room, go down to the kitchen and grab food for the next day, so that I didn't have to look at anyone or look anyone in the eye or have me around them, which was the issue. I didn't, you know, I felt so like everyone, as I mentioned, everyone hated me and was disgusted by my presence, that was my way of dealing with it, and it was so not the right way to do it. So I am begging anyone that feels like this or anything similar, reach out to me, reach out to a friend, family member, reach out to a doctor, reach out to the mental health team in your area, reach out to a charity. There are so many people out there that will listen. You've just got to reach out. If you don't, people don't know what you're going through. Reach out, speak to someone, start the process of healing. I wouldn't wish my situation on my worst enemy. We need to talk about this, guys. And if you want someone impartial, DM me. I will listen. and I will help you find the right help. Next week I'm going to be talking about my alcohol and substance abuse, so look out for that. These episodes are going to go out every Friday at 12 o'clock on Instagram and 6 o'clock on Facebook. I'm going to say it again: if you're feeling down, depressed, anxious, whatever, reach out. It's the first and most important step. Do it today.